I Love My Dad. Now, this is a movie that Alan and I both saw. I've seen it twice. Let me give you the premise, and you can look up the trailer. I Love My Dad is about a kid who's sort of meandering in his life. He's in his early 20s. He wants to get into game design, lives with his mom. It's sort of a failure to launch his life, right? But he has this loser dad played by Patton Oswalt. And Patton Oswalt is a complete and utter loser. He's a liar. He's a scam artist. He's not to be trusted. This kid's parents are divorced. And finally, the lead character's name is Franklin. Mm-hmm. The lead character, but what's the actor's name? The actor.
Oh, let me get it.
So the lead character, Franklin, is also the writer, director, and lead actor in this movie. His name is Jim, and I can't pronounce his last name, but we're going to get to it.
Morosini.
What?
Jim Morosini.
Jim Morosini. Okay, so Jim Morosini.
James Morosini.
James Morosini wrote, directed, and stars in this. Plays the son. He's early 20s, and his dad, played by Patton Oswalt, is a complete prick, an asshole, whatever. So Franklin, the character, unfriends and blocks his dad on Facebook. And already he's kind of limited. His son has limited his contact with his dad because he just cannot stand everything with his dad is a scam. And he blocks his dad on Facebook. So what does Patton Oswalt's character do? What does his dad do? He meets this very attractive woman at a diner, a little small diner, and decides he's going to take her photos from her Facebook account, create a completely different new Facebook account, and he's going to catfish his own son. It's hysterical, cringy. And then what happens is, so his dad, under the auspices of being this incredibly attractive woman, friends his son, starts communicating and chatting with his son, on Facebook, and begins a relationship. And the son falls in love with his dad's catfish character that he's created. It's incredibly creative. The way that they do it, it's really funny. Franklin will be messaging what he thinks is the girl who's super hot, attractive, and fun and whatever. And they take when she texts back, you actually see her talking to him. So in his mind, he's actually talking to her. The way they do this is very clever, except that they're just messaging, but in his head, he sees her talking to him. But it's really his dad. So they'll intercut between scenes. Like in one scene, he's talking to her and she says, "I'm kissing you now. I'm grabbing your, I'm putting my hand down your pants." And so it's like he's imagining in his head that the beautiful girl, he's making out with the beautiful girl. But in Patton Oswalt, the dad's head, he's making out with his son, and it's showed visually. It's so incredibly clever. It's not, also, by the way, movie's not woke in any way whatsoever. There's nothing woke about this movie. You may have to set aside, again, earlier we were talking about Mark Ruffalo and Mark Hamill and sort of how people are kind of shit posters on social media. And unfortunately, Patton Oswalt is kind of insufferable on social media. If you can divorce yourself from that and just see him as this awful character, it's actually maybe consistent with how he talks on social media. But yeah, which is kind of sucks. Like, because I love Patton Oswalt. Back in the day, his comedy, his specials, I bought his CDs. That's how long I've been following Patton. I think he's freaking great. And he's just become one of those people that's been obsessed with politics and just being an asshole online just to be an asshole. It's unfortunate. But if you could put that aside, this is the best movie Patton Oswalt's ever done. This guy, James
Morosini,
and I'm hoping to try to get him on the show next week, is so good in this role. And what's weird about it is, okay, so what happens in the story is he falls for this girl who is his dad, and he's like, "Hey, I want to go meet her," because he finds the diner where she works. And he's like, "I'm going to go meet her at this diner. I want to go meet her." And so then the dad goes on a road trip with his son, Franklin, to go meet the girl that's him. He buys a burner phone. So it's so good. This is the best comedy I've seen this year. It uses social media in an incredibly fun way. Patton Oswalt, best thing he's ever done. He's really good at playing an asshole. Rachel Dratch is in it and plays from SNL. She was remember she would play Debbie Downer. Wah, 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 wah. Remember that? She plays Patton Oswalt's girlfriend in the movie, who's kind of like helping him, but unbeknownst to her, she doesn't really know what's going on. And things that are revealed, it's cringe comedy. It's funny as hell. It's based on a true story.
That's the worst part. This is true. This is a true story. This happened.
It's incredibly well written, just incredibly well written. This and it's in theaters this week, and it actually opens at the Alamo Draft House. So if you have an Alamo Draft House near you, there's one in downtown LA, and actually the one in downtown LA, Patton and the director are going to be at one of the screenings for a Q&A. So, Alan, what did you think of I Love My Dad?
Yeah, this was a hard movie to get through.
What? I disagree.
I mean, it is like just the fact that this is a true story, and that everything that happened actually happened. It's a cringe comedy, and it just got really cringy. And halfway through is like, I don't know how much more I can take of this, because this is just wrong. What this father is doing, and just the way his son is getting played. It's not like he's doing it on purpose. He's doing it with all the pure motives possible, but the things that his son is going through, and at the end, it's just going to end badly. Things are going to happen. And you just, that's what I like about this movie, is because you're just so emotionally invested in this story and in this kid, that when things are coming up, your body just tenses up, and you just say to yourself, this cannot be happening. This is wrong. This is absolutely wrong. And then it plays out. And, it was cringy, but I was engaged. I was so engaged with this movie that, I had to see it through, and it will stay with you for a while.
It's so good. First of all, I plan to buy this movie. It's 90 minutes, which comedies, I feel like really good comedies, make them 90 minutes. But and the other thing is, there's the woman who plays, the love interest, her name is Becca, Claudia Sulewski. You should follow her on Instagram. Claudia Sulewski makes this movie. Mm-hmm. She's so good in this role because she's playing two versions of herself. She's playing the version of her, Becca, which is real. She is a waitress who works at a diner. She's also playing the version of her that is in the version of James, the character Franklin's head, that mm-hmm. is his dad. And it's just there's so many layers to it. This movie reminds me of it has touches of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which is one of my favorite romantic movies. It's a great that's a movie that if you're going through a breakup, I really strongly recommend Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. But this movie, it has touches of that because it's also about love, how mm-hmm. we perceive love. It's also a sweet father-son story, even with the cringe aspects to it.
And it plays out so well. I mean,
it does.
It takes no shortcuts to get to its ending.
And it goes for it. It goes for
mm-hmm.
it. And there's a sweetness to it. And the ending, I'm not going to ruin the ending. I'm getting chills thinking about the ending.
Yeah.
It's just, you don't see father-son stories like this. This is like a father-son story for now. How do you deal with social media? How do you deal with family and social media mm-hmm. and how that works, and divorce and whatnot? And it's also, you feel for Franklin. He's a kid who's kind of a bit directionless, living with his mom. His parents are divorced. He has aspirations of working in the game industry. It's just, it's really good. We're going to give away the digital codes for Minions at the end of the show, probably sometime around 11:15 or so. But let's get to the comments here from people. But I'll just say this: I can't recommend this movie enough. Go see it in a theater if you can. I believe it's out on digital in the next couple weeks, and it's a comedy that uses. The biggest complaint you hear from screenwriters now is like, it's so hard to write comedies, action movies because of what? Because of cell phones, because of these devices. It creates problems, right? For screenwriters, this uses it in the best possible way. And if it was only a comedy, fine, but it's a comedy that has layers, and it's also about finding love today. And I think
if it's possible, take your dad to see this movie.
maybe not. Maybe not. Kara says cringy and incest. Not really. Hank VP says this movie has Alan shook. Kara says sounds like fun.
Not since Call Me Brother have I felt this way.
RMFX says this is creepy. Cavatino, Cavalryman Shay, talk about having daddy issues after the reveal. Patrick Lemire says that's a messed up and brilliant premise. It is brilliant. Anonymous says, so Patton is playing himself? And Womp Biscuit says, some people trying to troll me. Here we go. I'll label you, Chris. You're one of the best reviewers I've seen in a very long time. Alan is no slouch either. I love Alan. I don't have to agree with Alan. I disagree with Alan a lot, but I respect Alan immensely. Who's going to be Alan? Pro tip, if you're going to be at the Cinequest Film Festival in San Jose, California, Alan is going to be there.
Yeah. Let's meet up.
Is it next weekend or the weekend after?
2 weekends.
2 weeks. Yeah. So, and he'll be doing reports. From the Cinequest Film Festival. Ken Bogus for 10 says, I dislike you, Chris, but here's a $10 donation. I heart Alan.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. Love it. Appreciate that. Munchkin says, Alan, is that the Film Threat dog behind you? Yeah. What's the Film Threat dog's name? What's your dog's name?
Her name's Molly. Because she is
named
a party
after,
drug. Yeah,
named after what?
MDMA.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. There you go. The Film
We
Threat
named
dog.
all our pets after drugs for some reason.
But look, I cannot recommend this movie enough. It's better than anything we've talked about this weekend. I know I could hear the tone in your voice, Alan, when I asked you about Easter Sunday. You're like, yeah, it's good. You know, when your tone of your voice goes up.
But it's, I've just seen these comedies. They're good. They're lighthearted, good premise. But, I really want something deeper and more clever. Crazy Rich Asians would be to me, the pinnacle of these kind of comedies. You're muted.
I saw the trailer for Easter Sunday and it just didn't grab me. And Joe Coy, I think his comedies, it's okay. But VDR says Chris and Alan are like the Siskel and Ebert of YouTube, rarely agree. We agree on, when have we agreed?
I love you, Dad. I love my dad.
I love my dad. We agree.
We agreed with Prey.
But I like to, here's the thing I like to hear opinions that differ from mine. I don't like to live in an echo chamber. I like opinions. I want to hear someone I disagree with because it's an opportunity to learn something. So there you go. I love my dad. Strong recommendation. If it's not playing at a theater near you, 100% seek this movie out.